Welcome to this PBL webinar. We're going to talk about how to create sustainable project-based learning that becomes a part of your school culture, and you have internal innovation that keeps it all going. So you don't need an outside partner to continually bring innovation into your system. Whether it's a school or a district, this process is effective every time. It's a two-pronged process. Let's jump into some slides so we can help explain it. We're going to look at leadership. We're going to look at leadership teams, in fact, and we're going to look at teachers and how you train them simultaneously, or at least at the same time of year each time, for a 3-year process that creates full sustainability. What does it look like? I believe that every K-12 leader should adopt a 3-year PBL plan because it strengthens teacher retention, drives school culture, and stretches funding further, which is something everybody seems to be looking at these days. So my first example here would be Jeff Spencer. He was been a principal at an urban school, a rural school, a suburban school. Now he's an assistant superintendent. But when he was at the principal level, he took an urban school from a D to a B on their state test score, using project-based learning as that model. At the same time, so it wasn't skill and drill. At the same time, community partners were coming in, parents were coming in, kids were engaged, teachers were engaged. All those things worked. The same thing happened in a rural school. And now he was at a suburban elementary school, and they were already an A. It's like, what are you gonna do now, Jeff? Well, he brought in a really neat culture. He wasn't brought in to bring project-based learning to the school. He was there to increase school culture and get them closer to their assessment, which was an NIT TAP assessment at the time, and just create really great instruction. Well, it turned out when he asked his teachers what they wanted education to look like in their school, they leaned towards project-based learning. And so they brought project-based learning in. They became a model school, a national model school, and they kept their A. In fact, they had the highest growth of any school in their band in the entire state. So they stayed in A, and they also increased growth in an amazing way. So now he's assistant superintendent of the township. There's 16,000 students there, and they're doing amazing things. In fact, they're bringing project-based learning to every school in their district, 24 schools, K-12. And it's an amazing plan, and it's going to work because they've got leaders that get the mindset. They understand the process, that it has to be collaborative. It's not a top-down mandate that says, boom, everybody do project-based learning. That doesn't work. It doesn't work for anything, actually. You might get some compliance, but when you get to like levels of implementation, they're super weak. And you might see it on evaluation day, but you don't see it in general. So you can't put any results on it, really. But when you bring project-based learning in a structured way, it is totally possible. Now, for a school that size, we're going to do it in 5 years, not 3. For a district that size, I should say. It's not just one school implementation. It's pretty complicated, and we customize it. So it's going to take 5 years, but we've started the plans there, and it's rolling. It's going to be super successful. We've got a lot of different resources for you. If you want to look out there, we've got several podcasts. We've got 4 podcasts that are top 10 PBL podcasts. We do have number 1, which is PBL Simplified for Administrators. That's an ongoing podcast. We also have PBL binge episodes. So if you go to binge PBL in your podcast player, if you search that, you'll see a binge PBL for teachers and a binge PBL for administrators. And what that is, it's kind of Netflix style is the idea. There's 20 episodes. Each one is 15 minutes or less. So you can binge them all and get all your PBL knowledge right at once. Or you do a lot of schools do is they take those binge PBL for teachers episodes and they make them small PD bursts, which is a pretty cool way to do it. It's neat to hear that. So check out some of those resources. We've got a faculty meeting bonus for you. In fact, you can, if you're watching this replay and you're not connected to the webinar, if you go to our homepage, go all the way to the bottom and you'll see a freebie for that faculty meeting bonus, because you want to start reworking your faculty meetings. If you as the leader are doing sit and get with your teachers, they're going to model that. They're going to do sit and get in their classrooms because they're going to think that's what you want them to do. And you're going to say, well, Ryan, I'm just too busy. I've got to get those things out there. Yep, that's what your teachers are going to say. We've got too many standards. I've just got to get those things out there. And it happens. So in this, it's a 1-page playbook. You can literally flip your next faculty meeting in about 15 minutes. There's actually a free course that goes along with it where I walk you through that process, just like I would if we were coaching. And you can flip your next faculty meeting to be more interactive, to get more voice and choice, to have it be collaborative, and you'll start to shift the culture of your building. It works. Here is our PBL Mastery program. That's a 3-year plan, and some of the schools that are engaged in it right now. And you start in year 1 with your leadership team and your teachers, learning the foundational skills that they need. Then they go deeper, and then they go to sustainability. so that when you get to year 4, you're fully sustainable and you don't need that outside injection of intense PD or coaching throughout the year. But let's talk a little bit about teacher retention, because that's one of the first things I said that PBL will bring your school and your district. And this whole idea started. I mean, we always knew that teachers were more engaged in a project-based learning environment. And then there's also research that then came out. But then I was reaching out for podcast guests. And I talked to Kelly, who's the principal on the screen here. And we were talking, and I said, well, what are you doing about turnover? I hear it's kind of a big deal. She said, we didn't have any turnover. We haven't had turnover for over 3 years now. And it was like, what? Like, that's our podcast episode. That's what we're going to talk about. So you can find her podcast on the PBL Simplified for Administrators channel. And we go into why is that? And it's because project-based learning, it's the way that teachers have always wanted to teach. Kids are solving real-world problems, and they have to master your content in order to do it. So you marry content with engagement and real-world problem solving, and it's really exciting. Like, it's a great way to teach. It's a lot of fun, and her teachers want to be in that culture, not just the learner culture, but the adult culture. So what Kelly brings to her school and her staff is a very professional, protocol-based culture where the adults are learners along with the kids. And that's a place where people want to stay. So, I mean, people do retire, so she might have turnover as she goes. But so the other thing you might be thinking, it's my next slide, is, well, there's probably nobody else around her, but there's a larger district very close to her that actually pays more. So her teachers are getting paid less to stay in her building. But PBL is the instructional model. And when you get engaged in that and you understand the adult culture that comes with that, teachers want to stay in that. So they literally have no turnover. There, we give you the podcast number on there. It's podcast 158. You can hear Kelly talk about it herself. It's absolutely amazing. And she's crushing it. And that's one of the things that project-based learning brings. And you got to admit, as a leader, like, turnover is part of the equation that you've got to think through. Like, you can no longer just like poach the really great teacher from the district next to you. Like, you need people, and you got to train up the people you have, and you need to keep those people. You want them to be high quality so that you want to keep them, right? You're not trying to replace them. And project-based learning can do that. So if you do have a retention problem, reach out to us. We'd love to talk about it. We want to hear what it is you're going through. And we've been doing this for more than a decade. We've likely got some tips that we can give you. And of course, we'd love to talk about the 3-year partnerships that our schools get involved with. So this becomes their culture that people want to stay in. It's exciting. So if you go to callmagnify.com, that's callmagnify.com, it'll take you to Calendly and get a short 30-minute call to get started. Now, we are a skills building organization. So we build skill sets for leadership teams and teachers around project-based learning, how to sustain project-based learning with the leadership team, and then how to run that in your classroom with teachers. And what I tell schools all the time when we talk is, I don't have a curriculum to give you. So, well, do you have a whole bank of PBLs that we can just go do? Like, no, because it doesn't work. Like, that does not work. If I give you this curriculum that was made in Delaware and you're in California, it doesn't go together. If I give you this great PBL that's surrounded by a bank CEO as the key portion of that, and you don't have a bank CEO as your community partner, it doesn't work. And if you do have a bank CEO as a community partner and you go and do that, you don't get a changed mindset by taking a PBL unit and just running it. It's the mindset that's important, along with the structure. So I believe that skills training moves mindset and builds culture. If you go get something out of Teachers Pay Teachers and run this PBL unit, or just tell your teachers to go, you're not changing mindset, you're not changing culture. That's what fixes Kelly's retention problem, right? She doesn't have a retention problem anymore because of those things, because they have the skill set, they have the mindset, so they have the culture. If you get really great curriculum, you have to be lockstep so we get the same results as we got when they pitched it to us, which means you're going to create compliance. And once you create compliance, you've taken away autonomy, and it's hard to get drive from Daniel Pink's book, Drive, without that autonomy, purpose, and whatever the third one is that I always forget. But you're going to build compliance around the curriculum. If you're going to run it right, you have to make your teachers do it lockstep. And that eventually hurts. So we believe in being a skills building organization. So whatever the class is, you can do project-based learning in any class. But if you've got curriculum, you're just going by the book, you're going page by page, you're losing the creativity that you could have in teaching, and you're also not upping the skill set of your teachers. So we believe it's all about skills. We believe it's the same thing with leadership. You say, well, Ryan, I've never done project-based learning before, so how do I bring it to my school? Yeah, I get it. Like, that's why we teach you the skill sets, right? It's just a skill set. You have leadership skills or you wouldn't be in a leadership position. So you take those leadership skills, you add them to structures and processes of project-based learning, and that adjusts that whole process. So there's a whole skill set that your leadership team can create. It's not just you as the leader. If you're the principal, I want your AP in there. I want your coach in there. I want some lead teachers in there. Because we're not trying to do a top-down mandate. We're trying to create a grassroots movement. And if that freaks you out because you've never led a grassroots movement or didn't even know it was possible, that's why we have the training and the coaching, because we create those skills. Once you have those skills, you don't lose them. That's the whole point. I mean, if you move to another curriculum or another evaluation system, the skill set for leading and for teaching, they're both there. That's why skills are so important. So here's a quick look into how we do the 3-year process. As we start with your innovators on the left side of the innovation curve, and we're going to get them involved. We're going to start with the learning team. We're going to have your innovators and early adopters go first. And as they start to bring project-based learning into your school or your district, they're going to start having local successes. And now you can say, hey, look what Southside Elementary did. Maybe you can do that too. And they say, well, yeah, we could do it. If Southside can do it, we can do it. At Northside, right? There's kind of a little rivalry. So, yeah, they can do it. We got the same kids. Let's do it. And that's how you start getting across the chasm. The chasm is that gap between your early adopters and your early majority. Your early adopters are willing to go first. Your early majority has to see that it works first. So they want to see your early majority go, your early adopters go. They want to see community partners come in. They want to see end products. They want to see kids get engaged and do meaningful work. Now they'll take a step in. Now they'll volunteer for that training. Now they're willing to go first. And once you get early majority, late majority is going to come. Now you're past the tipping point, and now your school culture has changed. Your district culture has changed to be more learner-centered, and now you're starting to move. This is one of our model schools down in Florida, and the place is amazing. Like, it's a K-12 environment. You should go see it, because just stepping in, you see that something's innovative. They are centered in Babcock Ranch, which is the only completely solar-powered town in the U.S. They've been through several hurricanes, and they don't have any power lines to go down, right? Because it's all solar-powered. The high school serves as an emergency shelter. They have all kinds of real-world problems that they're solving as the Trailblazers, which is their name. And they've got amazing stuff because it's the skills training, right? They're not going to tell you that, hey, if you buy this curriculum, you'll get these same results. They will tell you that every one of their teachers is PBL trained and goes to PBL certification. They actually train and are now certifying their own teachers with our materials. They're absolutely crushing it, but it's because they've raised the skill level, not the curriculum level, because their skill level has gone up. And their school culture is amazing. That's why you should just go and feel the culture, feel the level of excellence that's expected, the level of collaboration, even between the learners, just helping each other. It's amazing. As soon as you step in, you feel something different. So if you want to go take a tour, we'd love to set that up with you. Go to callmagnify.com. Just callmagnify.com. You set up a half-hour session with us. There'll be a Calendly on there. We'll give you a ton of options. We make sure there's a bunch of options so it fits you and your schedule. Investment over cost, right? So looking at your budget is always a tricky thing from year to year. So anytime you have some grant money or you have some title dollars, you want to make sure that it lasts as long as possible. So what we do, the way we help with that, is we have a 3-year investment strategy. You invest in the first 3 years, you build the skill sets and the processes and the structures, and then those continue on for the next 10. Right? So you've got your own PBL certified coach, you've got PBL certified teachers, you've got a leadership team that has thought through the structures and processes with us. They've been coached with us for 3 years now. And now you don't need us in a deep fashion at that point. You don't need injection from the outside world. You are now doing the work within your school, within your district, which is amazing. So we call it the PBL Mastery Program. It's 3 years. We can get you these slides, but you've got the foundational year. Again, it's for leadership and classroom teachers. Year 2, leadership team goes to deeper practice. Now your teachers have been through PBL units with their kids. What happened with the schedule? What's happening with evaluation? These things are likely going to need to be addressed. Your teachers are going to get into PBL Advanced now. The first year, they created a PBL unit and they implemented that first semester. Now they're going to want to know about a curriculum map. How do they do this all year? How do they bring in deeper benchmarks, better community partners, deeper community partners? In year 3, it's sustainability days. Year 3 is, what are you going to do in year 4 without us being in there to coach you every week? Right now, how do you create your own PBL coach? How do you create teams that create innovation? How have you adjusted your evaluation, your schedule? Your teachers are getting PBL certified so they can train your new hires and they can create trainings for you throughout the year. Do you see how you're creating that sustainable system? So in those 3 years, you're creating a sustainable system. You get to year 4, and now the investment changes. You're not investing heavily as you were in the first 3 years. So it's an investment, not a cost, because now you have all the skill sets are all still there. You can create PBL units around standards. You can train, you can evaluate, you can reflect. All those things are with you because you've got skills built, not just a curriculum. This is going to spell it all out deeper. These are all schools that have been through this 3-year process and are now model schools. So here's our model school continuum. You start as a foundational school. You're starting PBL, you're learning, you're changing mindsets, you're doing. You go through levels 2, 3, and 4, and we walk you through this throughout the 3 years to where you're a model school. You have sustainable PBL implementation. Just had this conversation this morning with the principal, and it's so important. You get to year 3. Now you've got all of your teachers are going through level 3. A portion of those, probably not all of them, are going to get PBL certified, because the PBL certification is really around adult learning, which is different than learner learning, right? It's how are they going to teach the new hires when they come in? And we're going to give you all of our materials come year 4. You're going to get our newest PBL Jumpstart. We're going to give that to you, and your teachers are going to run it. You're going to be a part of a coaching cadre. So your coaches are going to be collaborating with coaches from around the country so that they can work through obstacles, create best practices. Like I said, our school down in Florida, they're actually certifying their own teachers, which is amazing, right? So it's like, it's our certification that they're doing because they understand it at such a deep level. That's where you can be, right? They didn't start that way, right? We continued building skills until they got there. That's amazing, because now you've got sustainability. You've paid for something, but you paid for skills, not curriculum. Curriculum goes out of date. You have to get new curriculum. You've got to invest again. This skill set stays in there because now your teachers are teaching the new teachers how it works at your school. The school culture, the district culture is different. So here's a school down in Columbus, Indiana. A great place to visit. One of my favorites. Their slogan is "Be the Revolution." They want to change the world. And they've been through a principal succession successfully, still innovating. They've been through founding teacher succession, right? And they're continually training new teachers within their own system. So after initial investment, now they're continuing to move and innovate on their own. It's a great place to take you. You go talk to the learners, you talk to the facilitators, you talk to the admin. How did you start? How do you keep this going? Right? Really exciting stuff. So if we can help you with any of this, if you want to go visit, if you want to start your design days are held at one of these model schools. So your teachers can be in this environment and feel it while they're planning their own design days and their own structures back home. So it's 2 days. You get to be in there, ask all the questions you want, roam around during a live school day so you can see and feel and hear things, and then plan what it's going to look like for you. It's a really exciting time. So those are your design days. If you want to talk about that, again, it's callmagnify.com. Callmagnify.com, and you can set up a half-hour talk with us, and we'd love to hear where you're at and where you want to go. Like, where are you and what's your vision? And then we literally customize the plan for you. We customize the 3-year plan to fit you. If you're a STEM school, if you're a STEAM school, if you're an arts school, if you're super traditional but you want to move towards student-centered learning, like we do that, right? And we have a process where it's not just one size fits all, top down, go do this thing. We bring your teachers in, we bring your coaches, your APs in, and you start to say, well, how can we change? What do we want kids to know, say, and do when they leave us? Okay, well, how do we do that? The answer is probably project-based learning when you get down to it. Whatever that profile of a graduate is you have at the end, you've had that conversation, it's in there somewhere. And what we've seen over the last decade is that if you bring leadership and teachers together, you will get there. Man, this is exciting. So again, give us a call. Call magnify.com. And then if you've got any questions, you can put those in the chat. But give us a call. We'd love to talk about that 3-year plan with you and see where you're at and where you want to go. There's some pretty amazing ways that you can go out there, and some of the outputs you have from your kids are just unbelievable. So if it is a place where it's like, okay, Ron, I get it, but I need to see it to believe it, like, great. Like, we'd love to set up a time for you to go see one of our PBL model schools. We've likely got one near you where you need to come see one with your group of teachers, and they'll be in. Well, thanks for joining me on this PBL webinar. This is our 3-year plan for PBL implementation for full sustainability.